Lisa Martinez sat at her station, watching the green dots move across her screen. She had been doing this job for 3 years now, and most days were the same. Check the signals, write reports, drink coffee, and go home. But today was different. Today, something was wrong. The signal came from beyond Neptune, where nothing should be. It was not random noise from space. It was organized. It had patterns. Someone was trying to talk. Lisa's hands shook as she reached for the red phone. This was the phone she hoped she would never have to use. It connected directly to Commander Jake Thompson's office. "Sir, we have a problem," Lisa said when Jake answered. "There's a signal coming from the outer system. It's artificial." Jake Thompson had been running the Jupiter monitoring station for 8 years. He was a calm man who did not panic easily. But when he looked at Lisa's data, his face went pale. "Are you sure this is not a mistake?" he asked. "No, sir. I've checked it 5 times. Someone is out there, and they're trying to communicate." Jake activated the station's emergency protocols. Within minutes, every scientist and officer on the station was in the main control room. Dr. Amy Carter, the station's expert on alien life, pushed through the crowd to reach Lisa's workstation. "What do we know?" Amy asked. "The signal is using mathematics," Lisa explained. "Prime numbers, basic equations. It's the kind of thing we would send if we wanted to prove we were intelligent." Jake opened a communication channel to Earth. "This is Jupiter Station to Defense Command. We have a first contact situation. Repeat, we have a first contact situation." The response came back immediately. Captain Ryan Brooks, commanding the defense ship USS Defender, was already heading their way. His ship had been patrolling the outer system when the emergency call went out. "Jupiter Station, this is Captain Brooks. We're 20 minutes from your position. Do not respond to the signal until we arrive." But the aliens did not wait. As the team watched, the signal changed. The mathematics became more complex. Then, impossible as it seemed, words appeared on their screens. English words. "Greetings, inhabitants of the third planet. We are the Galactic Harmony Coalition. We come in peace and friendship. We wish to welcome you to the greater community of intelligent life." The control room went silent. Everyone stared at the screen, trying to process what they were seeing. How do they know English? Someone whispered Dr. Carter was already working on that question. They must have been watching us for some time. Our radio and television signals have been traveling through space for over a century. They could have learned our languages from those broadcasts. Jake made a decision that would change human history. "Lisa, open a channel. Let's talk to them." Lisa's fingers moved across her controls. "Channel open, sir. This is Commander Jake Thompson of the Jupiter Monitoring Station, representing the people of Earth. We receive your message and respond in peace." The answer came back almost immediately. "Commander Thompson, we are honored by your response. I am Ambassador Veltar of the Zephyrian people. We have been waiting for this moment for many years." Captain Brooks arrived just as the conversation was getting started. His ship, the USS Defender, was small but heavily armed. It took position near the station, ready to protect the facility if needed. "Commander," Brooks said over the radio, "I'm here and ready to assist." "What's our situation?" "We're in contact with an alien ambassador," Jake replied. "So far, everything seems peaceful." Over the next several hours, the humans and aliens exchanged basic information. The aliens claimed to represent 12 different species spread across dozens of star systems. They described their civilization as peaceful and advanced, dedicated to helping younger species develop and grow. "We have protocols for first contact," Ambassador Veltar explained. "We understand that meeting alien life can be shocking. We will proceed slowly, at whatever pace makes you comfortable." Dr. Carter took the lead in the scientific discussions. The aliens were eager to share information about their biology and technology. They sent detailed scans of their homeworlds, showing beautiful planets with low gravity and gentle climates. "Your world is quite remarkable," Veltar said when the humans shared similar information about Earth. "Such high gravity and extreme weather patterns. Your species must be very hardy to survive in such conditions." Amy noticed something odd in the alien's tone. There was surprise in their voice, but also something else. Something that sounded almost like worry. "How long have you been watching us?" she asked. "We first detected your radio signals approximately 80 years ago," Veltar replied. "We have been studying your broadcasts to understand your culture and prepare for contact." "And what do you think of us?" Jake asked. There was a pause before. The alien answered, "You are unique among the species we have encountered. Your history shows great creativity and determination. You have overcome many challenges on your difficult world." Lisa noticed that several other alien ships had appeared on her sensors. They were staying far away, but they were there. "Sir, we have more contacts. At least 6 ships at the edge of sensor range. Escort vessels," Veltar explained when Jake asked about them. "Standard protocol for first contact situations. They are there for our protection and yours." But Captain Brooks was not convinced. "Commander, I'm reading energy signatures I don't recognize. These ships are armed, and they're in attack formation." "Ambassador," Jake said carefully, "our military officer is concerned about your ship's positions. Could you ask them to maintain a more neutral arrangement?" "Of course," Veltar replied. "We want you to feel safe. The ships will move to a less threatening position." The alien vessels did move, but not by much. They were still in positions where they could strike quickly if needed. Dr. Carter continued her scientific discussions with the aliens. They seemed particularly interested in human biology and Earth's environment. They asked detailed questions about human strength, reaction times, and healing abilities. "Your species shows remarkable adaptability," one of the alien scientists said. "Your physical capabilities are far beyond what we typically see in intelligent life." "We evolved on a challenging world," Amy replied. "We had to be tough to survive." "Indeed," the alien said. "Very tough indeed." As the day wore on, Jake began to feel uneasy. The aliens were friendly and helpful, but something felt wrong. They asked too many questions about Earth's defenses and human capabilities. They seemed particularly interested in human military history and technology. "Sir," Lisa said quietly, "I'm picking up encrypted transmissions between the alien ships." "They're using a code I can't break." Jake nodded. "Keep monitoring everything. I want to know what they're really saying to each other." The first day of contact ended with plans for more detailed discussions. The aliens promised to send technical specifications for a meeting station they would build in the outer solar system. Humans and aliens would meet there in person within 6 months. "This is a historic day," Ambassador Veltar said as they prepared to end the communication. "The beginning of a new era for both our species." But as the alien signals faded, Jake Thompson stood in his control room and wondered if they had just made the biggest mistake in human history. Something about the aliens' behavior did not feel right. They were too interested in human capabilities and too evasive about their own intentions. "Lisa," he said, "I want continuous monitoring of all alien signals, even the ones we can't decode. Something tells me we're going to need to know what they're really planning." Outside the station, the alien ships waited in the darkness of space, watching and preparing for what would come next. Helen Garcia stood at the tall windows of the United Nations building, looking out at the busy streets of New York. As Secretary General, she had handled many crises, but nothing like this. First contact with alien life was supposed to be humanity's greatest moment. Instead, It was becoming their worst nightmare. 3 weeks had passed since the Jupiter station made contact. The aliens had been sending cultural and scientific data every day. At first, everyone was excited. The exchange seemed to be going well. But then Dr. Paul Williams made a discovery that changed everything. Paul was a planetary scientist who studied how worlds formed and evolved. The aliens had sent him detailed information about their home planets. As he studied the data, he noticed something strange. All the alien worlds were remarkably similar. Low gravity, stable weather, gentle climates. They were perfect for life. "Helen, you need to see this," Paul said as he rushed into her office. His face was pale, and his hands were shaking. "What is it, Paul?" "I've been analyzing the alien data about their planets. I also looked at their classification system for rating worlds. Helen, according to their scale, Earth scores as completely uninhabitable." Helen frowned. "That doesn't make sense. We live here." "That's exactly the problem," Paul said. He pulled up a chart on his tablet. "Look at this. They use something called a habitability death index. It measures how dangerous a world is for life. Their scale goes from 1 to 15. Anything above 5 is considered a death world. And Earth? Earth scores 12.7. Helen, according to their system, our planet is one of the most dangerous places in the galaxy. The gravity alone would crush most of their species. Our atmosphere would poison them. Our weather would kill them." Helen felt cold. "So how do they think we survive here?" "That's what scares me," Paul said. "They don't think we survive here. They think we thrive here. And that makes us something they've never seen before." Admiral Steve Coleman joined them a few minutes later. He was the head of the Space Defense Force, and he looked worried. "Ma'am, we've been monitoring alien communications. We've broken some of their codes. What did you find?" "They're not here to welcome us into their community," Steve said. "They're here to study us. They've been watching Earth for decades, trying to understand what kind of species could live on a death world." Helen sat down heavily. "Why would they care about that?" "Because every species that evolved on a death world has become a galactic threat," Steve said. "According to their historical records, death world species always become conquerors. They spread across the galaxy, taking over peaceful worlds and enslaving other species." Nina Foster, the government's top code breaker, had been working day and night to decode alien messages. She knocked on Helen's door and entered without waiting for permission. "Ma'am, I've got bad news," Nina said. "I've decoded more of their communications. The Galactic Harmony Coalition isn't what they claim to be. It's not a peaceful alliance. It's a military organization formed specifically to deal with death world species." "Deal with them how?" Helen asked. "They hunt them down and eliminate them before they can spread," Nina said. "Ma'am, we're not their first contact with a death world species. We're their latest target." Helen's blood ran cold. "Are you saying they plan to attack us?" "I'm saying they already are," Nina replied. "The cultural exchange, the scientific data, the friendly conversations. It's all been intelligence gathering. They've been learning about our military capabilities, our technology, our population centers." Admiral Coleman activated his communication device. "Tony, are you there?" Commander Tony Mitchell's voice came through from the lunar defense platform. "Yes, sir, I'm here." "Tony, what's your sensor reading on alien ship movements?" "Sir, we have a problem. I'm detecting massive fleet movements in the outer system. We're counting at least 3,000 vessels so far, and more are arriving every hour." Helen stood up. 3,000 ships? For a peaceful first contact? "No, ma'am," Tony said. "This is an invasion fleet. They're positioning themselves around our entire solar system. Whatever they're planning, it's going to happen soon." Dr. Amy Carter had been continuing her discussions with the alien scientists. She thought she was helping to build understanding between the species. But as she reviewed the conversations, she began to see a different pattern. They keep asking about human healing, Amy told the emergency council meeting. They want to know how fast we recover from injuries, how much damage we can survive, how our immune systems work. Why would they care about that? Helen asked. Because they're trying to figure out how to kill us, Amy said. They've been testing different biological weapons in computer simulations. They want to know what will work on humans. Paul Williams had more bad news. I've been analyzing their homeworld data more carefully. These aren't just low-gravity worlds. They're worlds where nothing dangerous ever evolved. No predators, no diseases, no extreme weather. These species have never faced a real threat in their entire evolutionary history. And that makes them what? Helen asked. Weak, Admiral Coleman said. They've never had to fight for survival. They've never had to adapt to danger. They've lived in perfect conditions for millions of years. But that also makes them scared, Amy added. They've never encountered a species like us. We're everything they're not. We're strong, we're aggressive, we're adaptable, we scare them. Nina Foster had been working on more intercepted communications. Mom, I've decoded their military planning documents. They're calling this Operation Mercy Strike. They believe they're doing the galaxy a favor by eliminating us before we can become a threat. How much time do we have? Helen asked. According to their timetable, the attack begins in 72 hours, Nina said. They want to finish this quickly, before we can develop space-based defenses. Helen looked around the room at her advisors. So let me understand this. We made contact with aliens, and they decided we're too dangerous to live. They've been pretending to be our friends while planning to exterminate us. And they think this makes them the good guys. That's exactly right, Admiral Coleman said. They see us as a disease that needs to be cured. They think they're protecting the galaxy from us. What do they know about our military capabilities? Helen asked. Everything, Nina said. They've been monitoring our communications for decades. They know about our nuclear weapons, our defense systems, our military organization. They think they have a complete picture of our capabilities. But they don't, Admiral Coleman said with a grim smile. They've been watching our civilian broadcasts and public military demonstrations. They don't know about our classified programs or our real defensive capabilities. Helen made a decision that would change human history. Steve, activate all defense. Protocols. I want every ship, every platform, every weapon system ready for combat. If they want to fight, we'll give them one. Ma'am, we're outnumbered thousands to 1, Steve said. Numbers aren't everything, Helen replied. They evolved on paradise worlds. We evolved on a death world. Let's see which one produces better. Survivors, Dr. Carter, had one more piece of information. There's something else. According to their historical records, they've encountered 5 other death world species in the past 1,000,000 years. They eliminated 4 of them. What happened to the 5th? Helen asked. They don't know, Amy said. That species disappeared before they could be eliminated. The aliens think they died out naturally. Or maybe they just learned to hide, Admiral Coleman suggested. Maybe they're still out there, waiting. Helen looked out the window again at the busy streets below. Millions of people going about their daily lives, unaware that their entire species was about to be tested. Nina, I want you to send a message to every government on Earth. Tell them what we've learned. Tell them what's coming. What should I tell them to do? Nina asked. Tell them to remember that we're humans, Helen said. We don't just survive on death worlds. We make other worlds into death worlds. These aliens are about to learn why evolution made us the way we are. As the emergency council meeting ended, Helen remained at the window. In 72 hours, humanity would face its first real test as a spacefaring species. The aliens thought they were eliminating a threat. Instead, they were about to discover what happened when you attacked a species that had spent millions of years learning how to fight back. The peaceful first contact was over. The real contact was about to begin. Fleet Commander Mordak stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the holographic display showing the human homeworld. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from space, but he knew better. The data his scientists had gathered over the past month made his blood run cold. "Commander, the intelligence reports are ready," his aide said, handing him a data tablet. Mordak had been fighting threats to galactic peace for over 300 years. He had eliminated 2 Deathworld species before. They could spread beyond their home systems. But this time was different. This time, the Deathworld species had already developed space travel and nuclear weapons. "Show me the military analysis," he said. The hologram changed to show human military history. Mordak watched in horror as the display showed 5,000 years of continuous warfare. Humans had been fighting each other since they learned to make tools. They had turned everything into weapons. "They fight constantly," the intelligence officer explained. "Even when they're not at war, they prepare for war. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities. They have created diseases that kill millions. They have developed strategies for fighting enemies they've never met." Mordak looked at the data on human biology. It was worse than he had feared. Humans were built for violence. They had forward-facing eyes like predators. They had powerful muscles and fast reflexes. They could run for hours without stopping. They could survive injuries that would kill most galactic species. "Look at this," the science officer said, pointing to a medical scan. "Human bones are 4 times denser than ours. Their muscles are twice as strong. Their hearts can pump blood at pressures that would burst our vessels. They're literally built to survive damage." But the psychological reports were the most frightening. Humans didn't just fight to survive. They fought for ideas. They fought for territory. They fought for revenge. They had something the aliens had never encountered in an intelligent species. They enjoyed fighting. "Commander," the communications officer said, "we're receiving more intercepted human transmissions. They're mobilizing their entire military." Admiral Carl Peterson was addressing the Earth Defense Council. The alien surveillance systems recorded every word as he outlined humanity's defensive capabilities. "We have 200 active defense platforms," Carl said. 12 nuclear submarines, 47 surface ships, and 83 aircraft squadrons. We also have ground-based missile systems on every continent. Dr. Kelly Johnson, Earth's top military historian, was presenting her analysis of potential alien tactics. She had no idea that her words were being transmitted directly to the alien fleet. "Based on historical patterns," Kelly said, "any alien invasion would likely target our major population centers first. They would try to disable our communication networks and eliminate our leadership. Standard military doctrine suggests they would use orbital bombardment followed by ground invasion." "And how would we respond?" Carl asked. "We would activate our distributed command structure," Kelly replied. "Every military unit has backup leadership. Every major city has underground bunkers. We've been preparing for nuclear war for 70 years. An alien invasion would use many of the same tactics." Mordak turned off the transmission. The humans were already planning to fight back. They weren't panicking or trying to surrender. They were preparing for war. "Commander," his science officer said, "there's something else. The humans have been unconsciously preparing for interstellar conflict their entire history." "What do you mean?" "Every human technology has military applications. Their space program was originally designed to deliver weapons. Their internet was built to survive nuclear attacks. Their global positioning system was created for military targeting. They've been building the infrastructure for galactic war, without realizing it. On Earth, Captain Greg Murphy was monitoring space from the International Space Station. He had been tracking unusual gravitational readings for weeks, but now he understood what they meant. "Ground control, this is the ISS," he said. "I'm seeing massive gravity signatures throughout the outer system. Whatever's out there, it's big, and there's a lot of it." Dr. Rachel Green was working in her laboratory, studying the biological samples the aliens had provided. She was trying to understand alien biology, but what she discovered scared her. "These aliens are incredibly fragile," she told her research team. "Their bones are hollow, like bird bones. Their muscles are weak. Their organs are inefficient. They've never had to deal with disease or injury. What does that mean for us?" her assistant asked. "It means they're not built for war," Rachel said. "They've never had to fight for survival. They've never developed the biological systems needed for combat. They're afraid of us because we're everything they're not." The alien fleet continued to monitor human communications. They intercepted military training exercises, watched war movies, and analyzed human sports. Everything they saw reinforced their worst fears. "They compete constantly," the alien psychologist reported. "Even their entertainment involves combat. They have games where they simulate warfare. They have sports where they physically fight each other. Violence is part of their culture." Mordak reviewed the tactical analysis. The humans had 200 military spacecraft. His fleet had 12,000 ships. The numbers seemed overwhelming in favor of the aliens. But the more he learned about humans, the less confident he became. "Commander," his weapons officer said, "we have a problem. The humans have been reverse engineering our technology." "That's impossible. We've only been in contact for a month." "Look at this," the officer said, showing him intercepted transmissions. "They've analyzed our ship designs from long-range scans. They've figured out our weapon systems from energy signatures. They're already building countermeasures." Engineer Chris Taylor was leading the reverse engineering effort. He had teams working around the clock to understand alien technology. "The alien ships use directed energy weapons," he explained to the Defense Council. "But the energy signatures suggest they're designed for precision, not destruction. They're not built for warfare." "What about their defenses?" Admiral Peterson asked. "Minimal," Chris replied. "Their shields are designed to protect against space debris, not military weapons. Their hulls are lightweight. These ships were built for exploration, not combat." Hey! Alien fleet prepared for their attack. They had studied human military doctrine and planned their strategy accordingly. They would strike fast and hard, eliminating human leadership and destroying their major cities. But as Mordak reviewed the final battle plans, he felt a growing sense of unease. The humans weren't acting like previous Deathworld species. They weren't trying to hide or negotiate. They were preparing to fight back. "Commander," his intelligence officer said, "we've intercepted human communications about their biological warfare programs. They have diseases that could wipe out entire populations. They have chemical weapons that could poison whole planets. Do they have the delivery systems to use these weapons against us?" "That's the problem, sir." "They do. Their space program is more advanced than we thought. They have rockets that can reach any point in their solar system. They have satellites that can be converted to weapons platforms." Mordak made a decision. "All ships prepare for immediate attack. We cannot allow the humans more time to prepare. If we wait, they will become too dangerous to eliminate." "Sir, what about the other galactic civilizations? Shouldn't we warn them?" "After we eliminate the humans, we'll send a report to the Coalition Council. They'll understand that we had no choice." As the alien fleet moved into attack position, Mordak couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The humans were behaving differently than expected. They weren't afraid. They were excited. On Earth, the final preparations were complete. Every military unit was ready. Every weapon system was armed. Every soldier knew what was coming. "This is Admiral Peterson to all units," Carl said over the global communications network. "The aliens are moving into attack position. Remember your training. Remember your duty. Remember that we're fighting for our home." He paused, then added something that would be remembered for generations. "These aliens think they're hunting us. They're about to learn that they're the prey." The alien fleet began its final approach. To Earth, Mordok watched the tactical display, counting down the minutes until the attack would begin. He had eliminated Deathworld species before. This would be no different. But deep in his mind, a small voice whispered that he was making a terrible mistake. The humans weren't just another Deathworld species. They were something new. Something that had never been seen before in the galaxy dot. Something that might be too dangerous to fight. The attack was about to begin, and there was no turning back. The first sign of attack came at 6:30 GMT, when every radar and sensor system on Earth screamed warnings at the same time. General Matt Robinson was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alarm filled his command center. "Sir, we have multiple contacts," his communications officer shouted over the noise. "Thousands of them, all around the solar system." Matt looked at the main display screen and felt his blood turn cold. Red dots filled the screen like a swarm of angry bees. Each dot represented an alien warship, and there were more appearing. Every second. "How many?" he asked. 12,000 confirmed contacts, sir. More are still decloaking." The alien fleet had dropped their invisibility technology all at once. They wanted humanity to see what they were facing. They wanted fear to paralyze human resistance before the first shot was fired. Captain Lara Evans was on the bridge of the used Terran Pride, humanity's flagship. She had been expecting this moment for weeks, but seeing it happen still took her breath away. "All stations, battle stations," she announced over the ship's communication system. "This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." The Terran Pride was one of only 8 heavy defense ships that Earth possessed. Against 12,000 alien vessels, the odds were impossible. But Laura had not become a captain by giving up when things looked bad. "Weapons officer, what's our status?" "All systems ready, Captain. Nuclear missiles armed. Railguns charged. Point defense systems online. Communications, patch me through to the fleet." Laura's voice reached every human ship in the solar system. "All vessels, this is Captain Evans. We knew this day would come. We trained for this. We're ready for this. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting to prove that humans don't give up." The alien attack began with energy beams from the outer system. Bright blue lights shot across millions of miles of space, targeting Earth's orbital defense platforms. The aliens expected their superior weapons to destroy human defenses quickly and efficiently. Lieutenant Andy Clark was piloting his fighter when the first alien beam missed his ship by 50 meters. The energy blast was so powerful it would have vaporized his entire squadron, but it had been aimed where his ship should have been, not where it actually was. "Dragon leader to all fighters," Andy said over his radio. "These aliens can't hit moving targets. Use evasive maneuvers. Make them waste their shots." The human fighter pilots had trained for years to avoid enemy fire. They flew in random patterns, changing direction every few seconds. The alien weapons were designed for precision strikes against stationary targets. They could not adapt to human unpredictability. Dr. Sophie Martinez was working frantically in her biological warfare lab. The aliens had released clouds of poisonous gas designed to kill all human life on Earth. She was humanity's best hope of surviving the biological attack. "The alien toxins are breaking down," she reported to headquarters. Our immune systems are fighting them off. How is that possible? General Robinson asked. We evolved on a world full of diseases and poisons, Sophie explained. Our bodies know how to fight biological threats. The aliens come from clean worlds. They've never had to develop strong immune systems. Their weapons work on their own people, but not on us. Engineer Chris Taylor was in his workshop, surrounded by pieces of alien technology that human forces had captured. He was working to understand alien systems and turn them against their creators. General, I've got good news, Chris said over his communication device. The alien shields are designed to stop energy weapons. They're not built to handle physical impacts. What does that mean? Our old-fashioned bullets and missiles can punch right through their defenses. Their technology is more advanced, but it's designed for fighting other aliens, not humans. The space battle was spreading throughout the solar system. Human defense platforms opened fire with everything they had. Nuclear missiles streaked toward alien ships. Railguns fired solid metal slugs at incredible speeds. The aliens had expected their first attack to cripple human resistance. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to die. Commander Tony Mitchell was controlling the lunar defense systems when the first wave of alien fighters approached the moon. He waited until they were close before activating his weapons. Fire, he said calmly. Hidden missile silos opened across the lunar surface. Hundreds of rockets shot up from the moon, each one carrying a nuclear warhead. The alien fighters had no idea the moon was armed. The explosions lit up space like tiny suns. Alien ships that had survived millions of years of peaceful exploration were torn apart by human weapons designed for war. Colonel Danny Wright was defending New York City when alien landing craft began dropping from the sky. The aliens were trying to capture Earth's major cities and eliminate human leadership. All units target the landing craft, Annie ordered. Don't let them reach the ground. Human soldiers opened fire with everything they had. Anti-aircraft missiles, machine guns, even shoulder-fired rockets. The aliens had not expected ground resistance. Their landing craft were designed for peaceful exploration, not combat landings. The first alien ship that touched down in Central Park was immediately surrounded by human soldiers. When the alien troops emerged, they moved slowly and carefully, like they were afraid of getting hurt. Fire, Danny said. The battle was over in seconds. The aliens wore advanced armor, but it was designed to protect against energy weapons and environmental hazards. Human bullets went through it like paper. Admiral Karen White was coordinating the global defense from her command center beneath the Pentagon. She watched the battle reports coming in from around the world and realized something important. The aliens are fighting like they're trying to win AIM, she told her staff. They have rules. They have procedures. They're not fighting like their lives depend on it. What do you mean? Her aide asked. They're fighting to minimize their own losses, Karen explained. They retreat when they take damage. They avoid risks. They're not willing to sacrifice themselves to win. And we are? We're humans, Karen said with a grim smile. We wrote the book on dying for a cause. Captain Eric Johnson was leading a desperate attack on an alien command ship. His small fighter had no chance against the massive alien vessel, but he had a plan. This is Johnson to all fighters. Follow my lead. We're going to ram them. Sir, that's suicide, his wingman said. Maybe, Eric replied. But if we can take out their command ship, it might disrupt their whole fleet. The human fighters dove toward the alien ship like missiles. The aliens tried to stop them with defensive fire, but the humans were moving too fast and too unpredictably. Eric's ship smashed into the alien command center. The explosion destroyed his fighter and crippled the alien vessel. But his sacrifice worked. The alien fleet began to lose coordination. Pilot Julie Adams was flying through an asteroid field, chasing alien fighters. The aliens were trying to use the asteroids as cover, but they had made a mistake. They thought the asteroid field was dangerous for humans. The asteroid field was just another battlefield. Julie's fighter twisted between spinning rocks, firing missiles at alien ships that were too afraid to follow her into the dangerous area. She had grown up playing video games that simulated exactly this kind of combat. "Come on," she taunted over her radio. "I thought you aliens were supposed to be advanced." The battle raged for hours. The aliens had superior numbers and better technology, but they were learning a terrible lesson. Numbers and technology meant nothing if you didn't know how to use them. General Robinson received reports from battlefields across the solar system. Everywhere, the same pattern was emerging. The aliens were technically superior, but tactically inferior. They fought like scientists, not soldiers. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're intercepting alien transmissions. They're requesting reinforcements." "Reinforcements?" Robinson asked. "They brought 12,000 ships to fight 200. How many reinforcements do they need?" "According to their messages, sir, they're losing." Robinson looked at the tactical display. Human forces were outnumbered 60 to 1, fighting with inferior technology against an enemy that had planned this attack for months. By any logical measure, humanity should have been defeated in the first hour. Instead, the aliens were calling for help. "All stations," Robinson announced. "We have them on the run. Keep fighting. Show them what humans can do when we're properly motivated." The first day of the alien invasion was ending, and the results were not what anyone had expected. The aliens had come to eliminate a dangerous species quickly and efficiently. Instead, they had awakened something they were not prepared to fight. They had awakened humanity's will to survive. Colonel Danny Wright stood in the ruins of what used to be downtown Chicago. Alien landing craft had been trying to capture the city for 3 days now. The aliens kept sending more troops, but they could not understand why they kept losing. "Colonel, we have another landing wave incoming," his radio operator said. Danny looked up at the dark sky filled with alien ships. The aliens had air superiority, better weapons, and unlimited reinforcements. But they still could not take a single human. "City, same tactics as before," Danny told his troops. "Let them land and hit them where they don't expect it." The aliens always landed in open areas like parks and parking lots. They set up defensive positions and waited for human forces to attack them directly. It was logical military thinking, but it was wrong. Humans had been fighting in cities for thousands of years. They knew that in urban warfare, the defender had every advantage. The aliens were about to learn this lesson the hard way. The alien troops moved through the streets in perfect formation. Their sensors could detect human weapons, and their armor could stop human bullets. They should have been unstoppable, but Danny's people were not using standard tactics. They were using the city itself as a weapon. "Now," Danny whispered into his radio. Explosions echoed through the streets as pre-placed charges brought down buildings on top of the alien formations. The aliens had been so focused on watching for human soldiers that they had forgotten to check the structures around them. Human fighters emerged from sewers, subway tunnels, and underground parking garages. They attacked from directions the aliens had not expected, then disappeared back into the urban maze before the aliens could respond. Admiral Karen White was watching similar scenes play out in cities around the world. The aliens had landed in New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other major population centers. In every case, the same thing happened. "They don't understand urban combat," she told her staff. "They're fighting like this is an open battlefield." "What's our casualty report?" she asked. "Human military losses are at 30%, her aide replied. Alien losses are at 70%. Karen nodded. The numbers told the story. Humans were taking heavy losses, but they were making the aliens pay a much higher price. It was the kind of mathematics that humans understood, and aliens did not. Dr. Ben Foster was working in his laboratory, surrounded by captured alien equipment. 3 days of fighting had given him dozens of alien weapons, vehicles, and communication devices to study. General Robinson, I have good news, Ben said over his communication link. I've figured out how their technology works, and I know how to turn it against them. Explain. The aliens use standardized systems, Ben said. Every ship uses the same codes. Every weapon uses the same targeting system. Every communication device uses the same frequency. They designed everything to work together perfectly. And that's a weakness? It's a huge weakness, Ben replied. If you can hack one alien device, you can hack all of them. I've broken their security codes. We can now control their own weapons. Commander Sandra Kim was coordinating resistance cells around the world. She had been preparing for this kind of warfare her entire career, but she had expected to fight other humans, not aliens. Sandra, this is Cell Leader Martinez in Mexico City, came a voice over her secure radio. We've captured an alien command post. Their officers are requesting permission to retreat. Permission to retreat? Sandra asked. From who? From there. High Command, Martinez replied. They won't make any decisions without approval from their superiors. They're just sitting here waiting for orders. Sandra realized something important. The aliens had spent so long in peaceful civilization that they had forgotten how to make independent decisions in combat. They followed procedures and waited for approval. Humans made decisions and acted immediately. All resistance cells, this is Kim, she announced over the global network. Target alien command posts. Capture their officers if possible. These aliens can't function without orders from above. Captain Eric Johnson was leading the first human attack on an alien supply ship. The massive vessel was orbiting Earth, providing support for the invasion forces below. Eric had volunteered for what everyone assumed was a suicide mission. Johnson to attack Squadron, he said over his radio. Remember, we're not trying to destroy this ship. We're trying to capture it. Sir, how do we capture something that big? His wingman asked. By thinking like humans instead of aliens, Eric replied. The alien supply ship was designed to defend against long-range attacks. It had powerful shields and weapon systems, but it was not designed to defend against borders. The aliens had never encountered an enemy crazy enough to try to capture a ship during a space battle. Eric's fighter squadron disabled the alien ship's engines with targeted strikes, then landed in the ship's cargo bay. The human soldiers who emerged from the fighters were equipped with captured alien weapons and breathing apparatus. The aliens inside the ship had no idea how to respond. They had procedures for space combat and procedures for ground combat, but no procedures for fighting inside their own ships. This is Johnson, Eric reported as his troops secured the alien bridge. We have control of the enemy supply vessel, requesting technical teams to study alien logistics systems. Engineer Julie Adams was working with Ben Foster to reverse engineer captured alien technology. While the aliens had been planning their invasion, Julie had been preparing humanity's counterattack. Ben, look at this, Julie said, pointing to an alien star map. This shows the locations of all their ships, all their bases, all their supply lines. How did you get this? I downloaded it from the command ship we captured, Julie replied. The aliens store all their tactical information in a central database. They never imagined that someone might hack into their system and steal it. Ben studied the star map. It showed alien positions throughout the entire solar system and beyond. It also showed something else. Julie, according to this, The alien fleet is running low on supplies. They expected this invasion to last 3 days. Maximum. They've been fighting for a week. What does that mean? It means they're starting to panic, Ben said. They came here to eliminate a threat quickly and efficiently. Instead, they're stuck in a prolonged war against an enemy they don't understand. General. Robinson received reports from battlefronts across the solar system. The pattern was the same everywhere. The aliens had superior technology and numbers, but they could not adapt to human tactics. Sir, his intelligence officer said, we've intercepted alien communications. They're requesting additional fleets from their home systems. How many ships are they asking for? 50,000, sir. They want to increase their force by 5 times. Robinson laughed, but it was not a happy sound. They brought 12,000 ships to fight a species that has never left its own solar system. Now they want 50,000. What are they going to ask for next? 500,000? Sir, there's something else. According to the intercepted communications, this is the largest military operation in galactic history. The aliens have never had to commit this many resources to eliminate a single species. And we're just getting started. Robinson said Admiral Karen White was planning humanity's first defensive operation. For a week, humans had been defending their home system. Now, it was time to take the fight to the enemy. We have detailed intelligence on alien positions, she told her staff. We have captured alien technology. We have proven that human tactics can defeat alien forces. It's time to show them what happens when humans stop playing defense. What are your orders, Admiral? We're going to capture their fleet commander. Karen said, we're going to board his flagship, take him prisoner, and demand the immediate withdrawal of all alien forces. Ma'am, that's impossible. The alien flagship is the most heavily defended vessel in their fleet. Impossible for aliens. Maybe, Karen replied, but aliens think like civilians. We think like soldiers. There's a difference. Captain Lavra Evans received her new orders with a mixture of excitement and terror. Her ship, the Terran Pride, would lead the attack on the alien flagship. It was the kind of mission that humans had been dreaming about since they first looked. Up at the stars. All hands, this is the captain, Laura announced. We've been asked to do something that the aliens think is impossible. We're going to prove them wrong. The alien fleet had come to Earth expecting to eliminate a dangerous species, quickly and quietly. Instead, they had found themselves trapped in a war against an enemy that refused to follow any logical rules of combat. Fleet Commander Mordok sat on his bridge, staring at the tactical displays. His forces were being systematically dismantled by creatures from a single planet. The galaxy's most powerful military alliance was being defeated by a species that had never fought an interstellar war. Commander, his aide said nervously, the humans are approaching our position. They appear to be planning a direct assault on our flagship. That's impossible, Mordok said. No species would be insane enough to attack our command vessel directly. Sir, with respect, this is humanity we're dealing with. They've been doing impossible things all week. Mordok realized that he had made the greatest mistake in galactic military history. He had awakened a sleeping monster, and now it was coming for him. Admiral Peter Morgan stood on the bridge of the newly captured alien dreadnought. 2 months had passed since humanity won the Battle of Earth. Now human forces were spreading across the galaxy, and the aliens were learning what it meant to face a true Deathworld species. Admiral, we have reports from all sectors, his communications officer said. The Zephyrian homeworld has surrendered. The Kelthani colonies are requesting protection. The Mordok Empire is offering tribute. Peter looked at the star map showing human expansion. Green dots marked human-controlled systems. Red dots showed remaining alien resistance. There were a lot more green dots than red ones. What about the Galactic Council? Peter asked. They're requesting immediate peace negotiations, sir. They want to meet on neutral ground. Peter smiled grimly. There was no neutral ground anymore. The galaxy now belonged to humanity, and every alien species was learning to live with that reality. General Mary Thompson was establishing the first human colony on the former alien world of Zephyros Prime. The planet was everything the aliens had claimed, a paradise with low gravity, perfect weather, and no dangerous life forms. General, the survey teams have completed their reports, her aide said. This world can support 50 million human colonists. Mary walked through the alien city that had surrendered without a fight. The buildings were beautiful, designed for creatures who had never known war or conflict. Soon, human families would live here, and their children would grow up on a world where the biggest predator was a butterfly. Begin construction of the military base, Mary ordered. I want defensive systems operational within a month. Ma'am, this world has no threats. Why do we need defenses? Because we're humans, Mary replied. We always prepare for the next fight. Dr. Scott Davis was leading archaeological teams on dozens of alien worlds, studying the remains of previous galactic civilizations. What he discovered changed everything humans thought they knew about the galaxy. Admiral Morgan, you need to see this, Scott said over the communication link. We found evidence of other Deathworld species. I thought the aliens eliminated them all. They tried, Scott said. But we found ruins on 17 different worlds. Advanced civilizations. That just vanished. The aliens claimed these species died out naturally, but that's not what happened. What did happen? They left, Scott explained. When the Galactic Coalition tried to eliminate them, they packed up their entire civilizations and went somewhere else. We think they're still out there, beyond the galactic rim. Peter felt a chill. Humanity was not the first Deathworld species to face galactic persecution, but they might be the first to fight back instead of running away. Captain Michelle Brown was overseeing the construction of humanity's first interstellar shipyard. The massive facility orbited a captured alien world, using alien technology and human engineering to build the next generation of human warships. Captain, the first batch of new ships is ready for testing. Her chief engineer reported. Michelle looked at the sleek vessels emerging from the construction bays. They looked like alien ships, but they were designed by human minds for human purposes. They were faster, stronger, and more aggressive than anything the galaxy had ever seen. How many ships can we produce per month? She asked. At current capacity, about 200 ships per month. But we're building more shipyards. Within a year, we should be producing 2,000 ships monthly. Michelle nodded. The aliens had brought 12,000 ships to destroy humanity. Within 5 years, humans would have 50,000 ships. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when a Deathworld species had unlimited resources. Engineer Joe Martinez was working on the most ambitious project in human history. Using captured alien technology, he was building a network of faster-than-light communication devices that would connect every human settlement across the galaxy. The network is almost complete, Joe reported to Admiral Morgan. Once it's operational, we'll be able to coordinate military operations across thousands of light years instantly. And the aliens? Their communication systems are designed for peaceful coordination. They've never needed military-grade communication networks. We'll have a massive advantage in any future conflicts. Fleet Admiral Robert Carter was preparing for the most important meeting in galactic history. The remnants of the Galactic Harmony Coalition had requested peace negotiations. They wanted to surrender formally and establish new relationships with humanity. Admiral, the alien delegates are arriving, his aide announced. Robert looked out at the alien ships approaching the meeting station. They were the same species that had tried to exterminate humanity just months before. Now they were coming to beg for mercy. The main alien delegate was Ambassador Veltar, the same Zephyrian who had made first contact with Earth. He looked older and more tired than before. The war had aged him. "Admiral Carter," Veltar said formally, "I come to discuss terms for ending hostilities between our peoples." "The hostilities ended when your fleet surrendered," Robert replied. "What we're discussing now is the new galactic order." "What are your demands?" Robert activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Half of it was now colored green, indicating human control or influence. "These are not demands," Robert said. "These are facts. Humanity now controls 40% of the galaxy. Within 10 years, we will control 60%. The question is not what we want. The question is what place your species will have in our galaxy." Veltar's face showed the fear that all aliens now felt when dealing with humans. "What options do we have?" "You can join the Human Galactic Federation as equal members," Robert said. "You will have representation in our government, protection, under our laws, and freedom to develop your worlds as you see fit. And if we refuse, then you will be managed as client species under human oversight," Robert replied calmly. "Your worlds will remain under your control, but your military and foreign relations will be directed by human administrators." "Those are our only choices?" "There is a third option," Robert said. "You can follow the example of the previous Deathworld species. You can leave the galaxy entirely. We will provide ships and supplies for any species that chooses exile." Veltar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Admiral, may I ask you a question?" "Of course." "Why are you offering us these choices?" "Your species has the power to simply take whatever you want." Robert smiled, and for the first time, it was not a threatening expression. "Because we learned something during this war. The galaxy is big enough for everyone. We don't want to rule over slaves or destroy other species. We want to build something better, but you will remain in control." "Yes," Robert said firmly. "Humans will be the dominant species. The galaxy now operates under Deathworld rules, but those rules can be fair rules if everyone accepts them." Ambassador Linda Rodriguez entered the negotiation chamber. She had been appointed as Earth's first galactic ambassador, responsible for managing relationships with the dozens of alien species that were now part of human space. "Ambassador Veltar," Linda said, "I have proposals from 15 different alien species requesting membership in the Human Federation. The Andorian trade unions want economic partnerships. The Centauri research institutes want to share scientific knowledge. The vegan agricultural colonies want protection from raiders. So, many species want to join you?" Veltar asked. "They've seen what happens to species that fight us," Linda replied. "They've also seen what happens to species that cooperate with us. We protect our allies. We share our technology. We defend their freedoms, but always under human leadership." "Always under human leadership," Linda confirmed. "We're the apex predators now, but we can be benevolent apex predators if others don't force us to be otherwise." The negotiations continued for 3 days. In the end, the Galactic Harmony Coalition formally dissolved itself. In its place, a new organization was created. The Human Galactic Federation. 40-7 alien species chose to join as full members. 18 species chose client status under human protection. 3 species chose exile and departed for regions beyond the galactic rim. Admiral Carter stood before the new Galactic Council, looking at the mixed assembly of humans and aliens. Representatives from dozens of worlds sat together, planning the future of galactic civilization. "The age of galactic harmony is over," Robert announced. "The age of galactic strength has begun. We will explore new worlds. We will push the boundaries of science. We will defend our civilization against any threat. And if new Deathworld species are discovered? Asked a Centauri delegate. Then we will contact them properly, Robert replied. We will welcome them as equals, not hunt them as threats. The galaxy has learned that Deathworld species are not diseases to be cured. We are natural forces to be respected. The new galactic order was unlike anything that had existed before. It was not based on peaceful cooperation or mutual understanding. It was based on the recognition that some species were simply stronger than others, and that strength could be used to protect rather than destroy. The aliens had made a simple mistake. They had assumed that because humans came from a dangerous world, they were inherently evil. They had tried to eliminate the threat before it could spread.